I just saw the first two episodes of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, a series that's based inside the Game of Thrones universe, and it happens at some point after the Dance of the Dragons, the story which House of the Dragons based on. So this is basically a period of time where the Targaryens no longer have their dragons. They're still ruling Westeros, and this happens. I don't know exactly how long before Game of Thrones, but it happens somewhere in the middle between these two, and I think it happens after the first Fire rebellions. So basically, in this series, we focus on Sir Duncan the Tall. He's apparently a hedge knight who wants to be a great knight and get a great name for make a great name for himself. And he's traveling and he's trying to enter a tourney. I think that's what it's called. And along the way, he meets a little kid called Egg, which it's a spoiler, but he's actually a Targaryen. And so they meet and they talk, and then he goes on his way. And he tries to enter the tourney, but apparently none of the lords are willing to vouch for him to enter the tourney because he says he's a knight, but the man who made him a knight, nobody really knows who he is. So he goes around asking a lot of people, a lot of lords, and it doesn't really go well. And during that time, he ends up meeting Lord Lionel Baratheon, I think that's his name. And I was honestly thinking that maybe this might end up being a bad situation and he might do some bad stuff or something. But turns out Lionel Baratheon is actually a pretty nice guy. He likes to have fun. And they party and dance. And they even have a deep conversation at the end of that. So that was a nice. Although, well, I guess he could have asked him to vouch for him. But I don't know. I guess he doesn't know the guy who made him a knight either. The man who made Sir Duncan a knight. So that doesn't happen. And while he's there and trying to convince more lords to recognize him as a knight, they don't seem to be interested. They don't seem to remember the man who made him a knight. And he meets Egg again. He somehow managed to get all the way there. And I'm curious how a Targaryen managed to sneak around without his guards and all that. So anyway, Egg joins Sir Duncan as a squire, I guess. It's kind of funny. He's the Prince of Westeros, and it's a nice interaction. There's a nice bit of chemistry between the two of them. And so while Sir Duncan's trying to get someone to acknowledge him as a knight again, the Targaryens show up. Yeah. So Baelor Targaryen and Maekar Targaryen, I think that's his brother's name, and his brother's son, Aerion Targaryen. I might get some of the names mixed up, but anyway, they show up. And when they show up, he has an interaction with Aerion, the Maekar's son, and he doesn't seem like a great guy. He seems like an arrogant Targaryen. But anyway, that's all that happens with them. And then he sneaks into the place where the Targaryens are staying and where Baelor and Maekar are standing around talking about where Maekar's two sons are missing. Apparently they don't know where he is, and one of Maekar's sons is actually Egg, and the other one, well, we don't know where he is. So as they're talking, Maekar spots Sir Duncan, and then Sir Duncan goes and talks to them and asks Prince Baelor to acknowledge him as a knight because of and the guy who made him a knight. And it turns out Prince Baylor actually knows who he was and he believes in that he's the man who knighted him. So he allows him to enter the tourney. So basically, he's not going to be entering the tourney. And at night, Egg and Sir Duncan are watching some jousting happening. And we see the other prince, the Targaryen prince. I think that this was the one that was supposed to be missing. He's fighting in the tourney, and yeah, at the end of the episode, well, basically Egg and Duncan are talking about what he wants to be, and he says he wants to be a knight of a royal house. I mean, a lord, some house in Westeros, or maybe even part of the be a knight for the Targaryens. And Egg is shocked, and it's because he's a Targaryen. So anyway, that's all that happens in the first 2 episodes, and the series, in the first 2 episodes, although not a lot is happening, it's kind of nice seeing it. I think it's more because of our attachment to the Targaryen family and House of Dragon and Game of Thrones that I kind of like it, because it's in the same universe, it's the same theme and all that. And yeah, I guess it might be an interesting series after all. So yeah, that's what happens in the first 2 episodes, and I'm definitely gonna watch the 3rd episode. Even though not a lot is happening, I like it. Maybe it's because of the what universe this is in, but anyway, I'll get back to you after I watch probably the 3rd and 4th episode together. So yeah.